everybody. Sorry I'm late. It is Rambling Hour with Lisa, and it is episode 13 of season 2. So welcome, and again, I'm sorry I'm late. I should have known better, but usually I try not to go out in the garden or do stuff on a Sunday because I know that I have limited time, so I try to do my workout early. And well, I sleep in on Sundays too, and then I try to do my, make breakfast for everyone, do my workout early, and just not do too much so that I'm ready for my live. But it was nice out at first, and so I went outside, and then I got distracted with being outside and wanting to be outside. So I got some stuff done outside, and then by the time I came in and make supper and everything else, and I made a really nice, I guess it would be a stir fry, sort of. It's broccoli and onion with, there's 2 different types of sauces, broccoli, onion, chicken, and one is just a homemade sauce, and then the other one is a sweet chili sauce out of packets. So today is Palm Sunday, and again, I was raised Catholic, but I'm not practicing Catholic. But I just thought, because I have the palms from, the kids went to Catholic school when they were younger, and they would get palms for Palm Sunday. So I have the previous year's palms here, and I just thought I would set it up. And this is a palm that, well, I think it's in the palm family, but it actually goes out in the garden, but I just brought it into the house over winter so that it wouldn't freeze and die, because I already killed one outside. If it gets too cold, it'll die outside. So hello to you guys as well, and I have a guest today, so there's no reason to postpone having my guest on. Thank you. Yeah, you're used to me being late. At least I show up. Yes, as I said, there is no reason to postpone having my guest on. I'm really excited about this. I talked about her way back in season 1 in the first few episodes, and it had to do with when there was the elections and everything going on with Donald Trump, and some Americans who weren't necessarily fans of Donald Trump were not happy about the fact that he may win, but and they had this thing with the Americans having what they called a support Canadian, so a Canadian who would help support them through the process of the elections, and it just in case the outcome was that Trump would win, that they, I would have let her and her family move right in with my mom. Just kidding, Mom. I would have found her somewhere to live in Canada if that's what she wanted, to get away from America. But luckily, Biden is, again, I'm not getting into politics. I'm just saying that Trump is out. Whether you like Biden or not, whatever. My personal opinion is Trump, he needed to get in there to change the world, to shake things up, and I think there's a positive outcome from even the most negative things. So I don't regret that he went in there, because I think there was a reason for it, but I'm glad he's gone, and I hope that it's moving forward in a positive way now. So with that, I would like to introduce you to someone who I've never actually spoken to on video chat or on the phone or anything like that, but I've been friends with for probably pretty much the whole time I've been a parent. So Allison's 17, so at least 17 years. And her name is Lisa McDermott Freeland. So I am going to add her right now. So she should be coming on anytime. It's just up to my internet now how quickly this works. Yay! Hi! How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, I'm outside. I'm trying to get used to this. Hold on, my phone. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's so weird to hear somebody with like a North American accent.
Yeah, I'm from the deep south, y'all.
Yeah, that is an accent that I can put on, like y'all. But do they have accents in Florida?
I'm sorry?
Do they have specific accents in Florida?
No, not really. Florida is one of those, the further south you go, the more north you are. And they say that because a lot of people from South Florida are actually from like New York or Massachusetts, or somewhere from like the northeastern part of the country.
So do they have like
so most
New
of
York
us,
and water? And,
yes, a lot of us do. I'm what they call a rare breed because I was born here, and most people are not actually from Florida. So
No, that's
my husband is too, and Lucy is too. So she's a second generation, which really doesn't happen around
oh,
here.
so where are your parents from then? If you were born in
My my mom is from New York, and my dad is from Illinois, from the Chicago area.
oh right.
And my in-laws are from the Boston area in Massachusetts. So,
Oh, so you're one of those
yep,
stereotypes then.
yes, yes, yes.
But there's a lot of what Canada calls snowbirds in Florida as well, isn't there?
Oh my gosh,
So
yes.
for people who
We
don't
have,
know,
and
that's Canadians who go for the colder seasons, they go to Florida because it's warmer.
yes, we are inundated with snowbirds. They're going to be leaving soon. Um, the the locals, we get happy about that because our roads free up and we can eat at our restaurants again and go shopping. It gets a little crowded here because I'm in the Palm Beach area, and so it's very touristy here. So we like when people come because we like their money, but we're ready for them to go.
That's so it's so for my Canadian viewers, like my sisters and my mom and everything, it'll be crazy because it's one thing to see me out in the garden with my spring flowers and everything, but you being in Florida, and when you turn that way, I see like the green and everything else.
Oh yeah.
So lovely.
See, I'm trying to. That's part of my butterfly garden back there. It's weird because I'm doing this with my phone, but I have back in that corner there. I actually have a certified monarch habitat
Oh yeah, you
for
were
monarch
telling us about
butterflies.
that on one of these episodes, actually.
Yeah, yeah. So I cut it back a while ago because it was getting kind of unruly, and when I was working like 18-hour days, I really didn't have a lot of time to manage it. And then I'll turn this way. And back that way, that box there, I raise swallowtail butterflies, but I really don't have anything yet. But they like to eat parsley and fennel and dill.
And I grow
So
all three of those in my garden.
yeah, yeah. So they love it over here, but they just I'm getting it back going. So I'm just waiting for them to come. If you plant it, they will come.
Only a half on. Oh, weird. So, Samantha says she wants to be a snowbird because it's freezing here, but she's here in the UK, so it's not as cold as it is in on the prairies in Canada. It's actually supposed to be in the teens this week, so that's kind of warm for, now.
Oh, that's way too cold for me.
Oh, I know. Like, see, we have cold winters in Canada, but we have really hot summers. So yeah, I wait and wait for summer to come here, but sometimes we get in the 20s here, and I'm like, but I'm getting used to it now. And Melody told me to turn my camera because she called me Sister Lisa, because if she just says Lisa, to turn my camera a little to the left because I'm only on half of the screen. Is that better, Mel? I don't know. To me, I'm on the screen, but so and the palm in the background, how perfect for Palm Sunday. That's my friend in like did you say Palm Beach?
Yes.
That's so funny. Yeah, Palm Sunday. Also, do you want to tell everybody how we met?
Yeah, we met back in the MySpace days. Like, I don't know, it probably has to have been at least 15 years, right?
Yeah, I said 17 because I remember when I first became a mom, and the father of my girls, he had a computer, so that was the first time I really went on those things. And when as you know, when you're taking care of a young baby, you have to be there, but there's some downtime when they're just tummy time and different things. So I got to play on the internet a lot and make friends, and I searched the name Lisa McDermott and became friends with lots of Lisa McDermotts.
Yeah, so that was back in the good old MySpace days, which I probably haven't touched that in a good 10 plus years.
I think mine still exists, but I haven't looked.
But I haven't checked.
Yeah. There was something else I was going to ask. No, I guess just tell everybody about yourself. So, married, kids, if you want to say how old you are and what you do for life, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so I have been married for 8 years. We actually just celebrated our 10-year uh, date anniversary earlier this month, and we have a 4-year-old. She's going to be 5 in May. Her name is Lucy, and I actually named her Lucille, but Lucy for short because I'm a huge Beatles fan, and I named her after Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Um, my husband's also a big BB King fan, and his guitar was named Lucille, so we named her because we both love music. And I'm 38. I live, like I said, in Palm Beach. I live in a little town called Jupiter, like the planet. Um, we are kind of very stereotypical a little bit in Jupiter. When I was a kid, um, in high school, like people would show up with surfboards on the top of their cars and you'd skip school to go to the beach, and it was like very Saved by the Bellish. I don't know if you remember that show.
I have a signed,
Yeah.
I have an autographed picture from Mark Paul Gosselaar that I got like when that show was on. I wrote a fan letter to them and posted it, and I got that back in the mail. And at that time I was like 12 or 13. I didn't realize that it was just like they had a stack of them and they probably mailed them out to, you know, but it was like the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much how my high school was. And what else? Oh, I work for the Department of Health, so I have been very busy, as you can imagine, this last like year and a half. Um, I was working like 18 plus hour days. Luckily, I'm able to work from home a lot now. But you know, it's been kind of cool because that's what I went to school for. So it's nice to be able to really put my education to the test, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been stressful, but you know, there's a lot of things that have come with COVID that didn't anticipate because it's very political here in the U.S. But I do enjoy what I do. My position is I'm a chief of emergency preparedness and performance improvement, which is a lot of like boring stuff. That part, it's like accreditation and strategic planning, and that's like the boring stuff. But the emergency preparedness stuff I've done for a little over 10 years.
Wow.
So it's, yeah, I've done a lot of like hurricanes and tornadoes and floods and all sorts of different disasters. So no 2 days are ever the same when it comes to that stuff. And I love music, but you knew that.
I knew. But not everybody that's watching knows that you post millions of videos. Well, not right now because of, you know, with restrictions. Stuff, but before that, every concert and every rock band that you've ever met, like you meet. So I can't believe how many people you meet. You would think that you worked at the arena or something that they perform at the way you have.
I should, and I sure enough have given them enough business over the years that I should be able to. But I think sometimes you go to the same venue all the time, they start to get to know you. And so, you know, sometimes it's luck of the draw. Other times it's like, I'm just going to go back there like I own the place, and they just let me in.
Yeah, that's awesome to make connections. I'm just going to ask, okay, so Melody or Samantha or somebody, explain to me which way I need to turn the camera if I'm cut off, because I think my sister sent me a picture in Messenger to show how I look, but to you, do I look like I'm in the middle?
Yes, but I thought that was partly like my phone.
Yeah, no,
because I'm holding.
It splits the screen, so you're on half the screen and I'm on half the screen. But I don't. They said to turn it left, but I don't know if I turn the camera left. Plus, it's reversed, so I don't know. Turn it towards the Easter stuff or away from the.
That's better. Wherever you just move to, yeah, like closer to the.
But I.
Oh yeah, that works.
I don't really because I don't know how to move it because to me I'm in it. Maybe there is that better, ladies.
That's a little bit better.
Oh, I don't know how it's cut off because I don't know. Weird. So so a few things. Hurricanes in Florida. Has it been harder during things like that, working in your field, or do you find that this COVID stuff in the last year has been harder?
Well, we had to do both at the same time. So,
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
early,
hurricanes don't go on pause because of COVID.
yeah, that was probably the biggest challenge. One of the biggest challenges I've had in my career is we had a hurricane. It was called Isaias. I have no idea how they come up with these names, but we have to open up shelters for people who live in evacuation zones, and with the Department of Health, we are responsible for special needs shelters, which means like people who medically need electricity to survive, you know, with oxygen or a number of things. And so our capacity used to be like 800 people. And then with all the guidelines with COVID, that really put a damper on things because you don't want to get a whole bunch of people into one room and spread the virus. And these are medically vulnerable people too. So that was probably the biggest challenge we had. Luckily, people realized that their risk of dying from COVID in that shelter was higher than coming. And so a lot of people ended up staying at their home because it wasn't as big of a threat as some of our previous hurricanes. But that was stressful.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I can't imagine, like, I can't imagine living. Actually, we get hurricane winds here, but I don't live on the coast, so I have no idea what it would be like to be in a hurricane or with that, let alone first, what are the key workers and people on the front lines and everything. Like, I don't envy your job at all. Sorry, I'm really annoyed with, I don't know, they said they could see the dog bed. I didn't even know I turned it that far. And I don't know what I'm supposed to aim it at or where. I'm just getting really, because this has not happened before. So I'm distracted and I apologize for that.
That's like I can see you okay now.
I can see me as well. So, okay, Melody said perfect, sort of. So which way do I go? Towards the dog bed or towards the dog? Because she's lying on the ground right here beside me. And with hurricanes, and again, I commend you for working in the field that you have to, and COVID, and especially in America. The numbers are really high there, and it just doesn't seem like a lot of people are taking it seriously. And I noticed that people in Canada, I know obviously because there's less people in Canada that the numbers are lower in certain places. So it seems like there's this conspiracy theory. Some people even think it's not real. I have a friend whose mom died and he doesn't even, I don't know, he has some weird thoughts even though his mom died from it. And I just think like living in the UK, our numbers are really high, and in America they're really high there too. And I think how could anybody think that this is fake? Do you not see the like refrigerated trucks outside of hospitals on the news, like for makeshift morgues? And like I don't understand how people can think this isn't a big deal.
I had to order two of those trucks. That you mentioned that the refrigerated trucks. That was one of the first big things I had to do at the start of the pandemic. Was the office asked me to order that. I have never ordered one, let alone two refrigerated trucks for bodies. Like that was, yeah. And then I would drive by them too, and like they're not marked, so you would never know. But I would drive by and I'm like, I know what that is. I know what's in there.
Yeah, I saw. Oh, I mean, I haven't saw them in real life because I try not to go out if I don't need to. But I, especially going to the hospital. But I've seen them on the news, and just like, how do people not have friends and family who work in healthcare that have first-hand accounts of what's going on? Like, I do not know how people cannot be taking this seriously, and how you can't process that it's not just you who will get sick. So if you don't care about your life, fine, but you could be carrying it, or you could pass it on like to other people. So you not taking it seriously is putting other people at risk.
Yeah, a lot of people here will make the excuse, especially in Florida, where you have a higher population of older folks, that they were going to die anyway because they had underlying health conditions, and you don't know that. I mean, that could be a contributing factor. We just don't, you don't always know. But I've lost a couple people. I've known people who've had family and friends. I know people in healthcare still don't believe it because they've gotten very political about it.
Yeah.
And and it shouldn't be at all. It's science. And unfortunately, people here just get too wrapped up into their political beliefs that they believe somebody that has zero science experience versus people like me who have studied it for almost 2 decades.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that this was predicted. People knew that we would get, like, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
like the coronavirus, like COVID, whatever you want to call it. This isn't a new. I mean, it's a new variant of it, but it's not a new thing.
Right.
Let alone, but
Nope.
also, even if it wasn't this, it's been predicted and even made into movies and different things that we could get worldwide. You know, because we travel so much now that things will spread so easily. But that we could have a worldwide pandemic with disease and illness and everything else. Not only that, it's not like it's, you know, like if you think of Spanish flu and other things, it's not a new concept either. It's not. How would the government be, whether it was man-made or from an animal, regardless of that, it's happening. And how would the government be benefiting from the economy being, you know, shut down and everything else? It's just, it doesn't make sense to me.
Not at all.
So, but anyways, yeah, we don't need to, but I'm guessing, just to last thing on politics and stuff like that, I'm guessing that you have a sigh of relief and you're breathing a little bit easier that Trump is not only not in office, but I believe he's not moving there, is he?
No, he's here.
Oh yeah, well, you know, because he was either going to move there or up in Scotland, and they said up in Scotland, even the prime minister of Scotland or whatever, or mayor, I don't know, yeah, the prime minister said that he's not welcome. No, it was the mayor of the area, like where the golf courses and stuff, that said, like the people there said he's not welcome there, including the mayor. Steve just told me that yesterday.
He's still here. His place is called Mar-a-Lago, and it is about 30 minutes from my house. And he is here. I would get when he was president, I get notifications when he's coming, so we can, you know, make preparations and all of that. And he was always here. And he also has a golf course 3 miles from my house, just up the main road there. And his kid, one of them, I think it was Eric Jr., him and his girlfriend wanted to buy about 5 miles from me in this big waterfront luxurious place. And I mean, those people there are so rich that my brain can't even comprehend how much money that is. But they did not want him to move in. They threw such a fit about Eric Jr. moving in that then they decided not to. So then they decided they're going to buy a place 5 miles from me in the other direction. And so I can't get away from them. I am surrounded. You know,
where did he live before the presidency?
Mostly
New York, right, in the tower. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm just gonna read comments really quickly. My mom said that the numbers are up in Canada. My sister said no. Samantha said she likes your necklace.
Oh, thank you.
And then Samantha, her partner is a nurse, so it says Alex. That's her partner. Alex's hospital. They will say Rose Cottage if someone passes and goes to the morgue, so other patients don't know what's happened. But he works on a COVID surgical ward, and some patients who have it won't accept it. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did see that guy. I can't remember where he was from. I think it was somewhere in Europe, and he was sorry, my dog's just sniffing the table. I don't know what people can see and what they can't, but yeah, he was some kind of influencer. He's like a bodybuilder. He is quite fit and healthy. And I remember seeing a post of him saying like that from his hospital bed that he, you know, I don't remember if he said it's not real or that it's, you know, I have it, but I'm going to be fine and blah, blah, blah. And then he died. So
yeah, I think he lost like, what was it, 35 pounds of pure muscle? I think it's the same guy, or somebody did. He just was in healthcare, like a nurse, and he just lost a ton of weight. And he had the tube, I think, you know, they were, I think, feeding him by tube. And I don't know if you know this, but my mom had it, and my brother had it.
No,
and they had 6 weeks, and she still got COVID brain, and she had it back in July. And she still struggles with some side effects. Like her taste still changed. One of my coworkers had it, and he's Italian like me, And he said now he can't stand the smell nor taste of garlic, which is like sacrilegious for us
Oh my God,
Italians.
yeah, that would be horrible.
Yep, and he used to be a fluent coffee drinker, and he now cannot stand the smell of coffee or taste of it.
Wow. Well, Samantha, my friend who's watching, that she's my friend here, and she's pretty much my, well, like the friend that I would hang out with if we weren't in restrictions. I don't want to say she's my only friend here, because then people who think they're my friends might be offended. But yeah, she's my best friend here, and she and Alex have had it. And also Steve's business partner for Feathers Academy, Jackie, she's had it, her husband and her mother, who's 85 or 86, had it, and she survived. She didn't even go to the hospital. She fought it at home, and that was, yeah. She said she is my only friend. I was going to say with Donald Trump too, when we went up to Scotland a couple of years ago now, because we haven't traveled for a year, we were looking for somewhere to eat lunch, me, Steve, and the kids. Well, we stayed up in Scotland for a week or something on holidays, but we went for a drive, and we ended up at the like outside the golf course, and we're like, no, not even gonna, I don't want any of our money to go to him. So we turned around, we went to this little tiny like fuel station, like what they call them petrol stations here, but gas station. And it had like basically microwave food that they served us in these little chairs. Like that was better than giving any of our money to him.
Yeah, I've been to Mar-a-Lago once, and that was well before his presidency days. And that was when I used to work at the American Red Cross, and we had every year he would host our what do we call it? It was some ball. It was our biggest ball we'd have, and they did a big speech bureau panel, and it was actually very interesting because they brought in ambassadors and politicians from all over the country, and I was allowed to go to them because they needed help with registration. So I was able to go there. I got to see like some of the gold rooms. I saw Ivanka and Jared coming back from their tennis match. But then this conference room that they had was it was really cool. They actually had our current senator there, and they were talking about hot topics like drugs and there, what else were they? Oh, like just international relations. It was actually very interesting. That was well before anybody knew he was going to be president one day.
Well, I thought I liked him before he was president. Like I used to watch the Apprentice, and I mean I had no feeling one way or another. It wasn't like, oh, I seeked out to learn more about him, but I didn't think he was the way he was either.
Yeah.
It wasn't until he became president where it was like what we were talking about with people like denying COVID and stuff like that. The things that would come out of his mouth, I would just be like, what? I'm not just saying, okay, fine if he's that way, but when I see how many people are Trump supporters, it shows me how easy it would have been for Hitler to have supporters.
Yeah, he's got a big following here, and even now that he's not, with no access to Twitter and everything, he's got a bunch of high-level politicians that kind of followed in his footsteps, which is funny because they would do all these debates for the Republican chair position, and these are the people who used to bash him and say, how terrible he is, which I mean, I agree, but now they're like his biggest allies. So it just shows that a lot of these folks are career politicians, and that they put party over country, and that's what annoys me because I think most of us fall somewhere in the middle, and you're forced to choose a side in order to make a meaningful vote. And a lot of these people are just looking for their next election campaign, and it sucks. And I think like our next candidate for 2024 is going to be the Florida governor, and he is he's very similar to Trump. I call him his puppet because he acts just like him. Well, I don't want to say he acts just like him because I think he's way more intelligent, but he has a lot of the same principles. So we'll see what happens.
Right, and it is like that as well here a bit too, but I heard that somebody said that about, I think I was listening to a podcast and they said something about that it's not going to work whether here in the UK or, in America or anything. It's not going to work if it's just this side against that side. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work that way. That's not for the people. You know, the point is to come together and to do what's
Right.
right for all the people, not say, oh, because you're on that side, you know, we're, you know, it's just, and it's really sad. Um, but I back Obama again. Let's get him back. Yeah, I know he can't though, and or if I could be president, Samantha said. Yeah, no, I think Michelle Obama would have been awesome, but I don't think we're going to go down that road. But we'll see what happens in the future. But for many reasons, and this is not a shot at you or the other good Americans, for many reasons, I am so glad that I'm not American, because I thought Canadians and Americans were very similar, and for the most part, lots of us are. I mean, most people around the world are similar in the fact that they just care about family and friends and food and, you know, shelter and just like love and the main things in life. So, you know, you can go anywhere in the world and people want the most basic things the same, but your healthcare in the States,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. It's kind of it's terrible because, you know, like, luckily for me, I have a decent paying job, gives me wonderful health benefits. Um, my benefits from my insurance are so good that my husband, who works for the federal government, is on my insurance because mine is so. But I'm a rarity. Not everybody has what I have, and it sucks that, like my brother for a while, he did not have insurance, and so he I would have to force him to go to the doctor if something was wrong. And when he had to, like, he thought he broke his ankle, he had to pay out of pocket. And I mean, granted, it was only $200, but you know, for him, that was a lot of money.
yeah,
So it's we definitely can improve, and I think we don't put enough into prevention. If you put more, you know, an ounce of prevention uh, ends up being more cost effective. And unfortunately, you know, most of us think about the bottom line when it comes to healthcare. But I wish if people took more preventative measures, you wouldn't have to pay so much money in medications and surgeries and all of this if they put more focus into prevention.
oh, absolutely. And
But probably why.
sorry.
I said that's probably why I'm in public.
I yeah, like, and we take for granted in like the UK and Canada, we take for granted what we have, like walk-in clinics and the fact that you can just go see the doctor for anything and that you don't get charged. You know, we complain when we have to pay $10 or pounds for a note from the doctor for, you know, work or whatever. But that doctor's visit was free. You know, it's so many things that, and you know, it's weird when I hear that people complain about the NHS here or the healthcare in Canada, because you're getting that for free. So shut up, you know?
Right, right. And do you have private insurance there? Like, if you chose to have private
In
insurance?
Canada, you can have like what, in like the province that you live in. Like when I lived in Alberta, I had Alberta healthcare. And then this is ridiculous. So I lived in Alberta my whole life. That's where I was born. And then I moved to Saskatchewan 14 years ago, but I lived there for 7 years. And I had to change because it was a different province, so like a different state, right? So I had to change to Saskatchewan Blue Cross. And they considered my depression and my sinus infections pre-existing conditions, so they weren't covered. So the things that I needed medication for weren't
Right.
covered. So it was ridiculous, because I guess once you get a sinus infection, you're more prone to them. But it's like, well, what am I
Yeah.
paying for with this if it's not covering the things that I have to pay for every month, anyways?
Right.
But here you don't. I mean, Samantha can tell me if it's different, but and there's private things like private healthcare things that you can do, like if you know, if the wait for surgery is too long, you might be able to get it at a private place here and stuff like that. But the NHS is
Mm-hmm.
for everybody, and even like visitors like me, when I was a visitor, that I could go to the doctors if I needed to, even before I had my
Oh,
visa.
right. Hmm.
So that's one of the
That's cool.
reasons that a lot of um, what is it? Like people who are seeking asylum and stuff like that will come through so many countries to get to the UK
Right.
because of
Right.
the healthcare and the benefits and everything here. And
Yeah.
Canada's healthcare system was based off of the UK healthcare system. So I'm just going to read these really quickly. Samantha said, let's sort this. You can be in my party, for her being the president. And I'd put in place free healthcare as it should be available to all. It really annoys me that Americans don't get it. I agree. I absolutely agree. I think that should be one of your basic things. The first thing a government should try and set in place is making sure that everybody has food and healthcare and education. But, you know, I'm not the president. In the UK, you can get private healthcare, but it isn't necessary at all. Yeah, that's so. Americans healthcare president. Oh, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think you actually have to be born in America to be the president,
Yeah.
or do you have to be an American citizen?
You have to be born.
That was the whole controversy with Obama and his birth certificate.
Right, because and we had that similar to with a senator who's one of the Trump's biggest supporters. His parents, I think, were from here, and they were missionaries somewhere. So he was born somewhere else, but they were American citizens, and so that's where I think it gets fuzzy. And that was with Ted Cruz, one of Trump's biggest supporters. And Obama, I think there was some like they thought he was from somewhere in Africa. I don't remember which country, or because he was Hawaiian or something. Which Hawaii is a state. I know, yeah. It's not another state. So I don't know. I didn't follow that one too much because I just thought the whole thing was stupid.
I remember this episode of Border Force. I learned a lot from watching the Border Force shows. You know, with the airports and everything. And the way I got treated when I first came to the UK, and immigration officers and the what do you call them at the border, like they really are. They are on a power trip, though. They think they have like some, and they do have a lot of power over decisions, but yeah, they're really arrogant about it. So there is some things where they treat people like shit, and they could do a better job with that. But I didn't know a lot of that when I first came here, and like I was bawling my eyes out and everything else. But watching those shows showed me that, oh, okay, it is normal to, like, you know, if you should have a return ticket, otherwise they think you're overstaying, like all the stuff that from that. But I remember this one episode that me and Steve watched, and it was in BC, like coming up from Washington through BC. They were going to Alaska, and they had their guns with them because, you know, Americans and their guns. But they were like, no, you can't bring guns into, this is Canada, you can't bring it in here. And he's like, no, I have a permit. And it's like, no, yes, but this is a different, like Canada, yeah. You cannot bring your guns in here. If you want them to go, like I think you can post them to yourself, or there's different ways to get them up to Alaska, or they have to be, anyways. So he's like, they're like, or when they said this is Canada, he's like, yeah, but it's basically the same thing, right? Like, yeah, as if Canada's part of America. No, this is a different country. Like, he was such an idiot.
I can see that.
Okay, let me see. I always I need to wear a dark color because the comments are in white and then I can't see them against my clothes, so I have to like do a weird thing. But it isn't. Okay, Melody, my sister said, I have benefits from work which cover 80% prescriptions, dental, hospital benefits. I have a health care spending allowance for things that are not covered, like optical. And Samantha said, I may need some fraudulent documents. Does anyone know anyone? Oh yeah, I guess that is a point, like for what my sister said. In Canada, you do need that, like Blue Cross or through work, to cover dental prescriptions and that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you are paying out of pocket for stuff like that. Like my daughter Alison has braces here, or I had them, but she took them off, and they said they're not going to put them back on, or she doesn't want them because she's just going to take them off again. And but one of the reasons that I got them both braces is because here you don't have to pay for braces. So I thought, have them while you're an adult. So I'm like, if you need them, put them on now, and we don't have to pay for them. In Canada, you'd have to pay for them, and they'd be thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I'd have to go pay like over about $5,000. I'm going to go do a Invisalign because I used to have braces when I was a kid. And then, your teeth as an adult if you don't wear your retainers and all that stuff. And so I just went to get an estimate and like did all the photos and everything. And I was supposed to go get them, and then my dentist went on maternity leave. So I paid all this money and I still don't have them. That's okay.
Oh, wow.
She's going to come. I hope.
But the thing is that even after you get all that work done and you have braces and everything, as an adult, like our teeth still shift. Because my little teeth are starting to get really tight together.
Yeah.
And
my too. And I got really self-conscious about it. So I said, my parents already paid all that money when I was a kid. I better have some good teeth. So we'll see when she comes. I hope.
Yeah, I try not to point out. I mean, we're all fine the way we are, but the stereotype of Brits having bad teeth, and Steve will say it's not true, but I see it, and it's genetic, right? It's obviously genetic because it's the way their teeth are when they're born. It's not like they.
Yeah.
But it is a thing here. It seems like they're all crisscrossed and stuff. I don't know why, but genetically, I've seen on TV and in real life a lot of Brits who do have it. Not like every single one, but it is more common than I would see it when I lived in Canada.
That's like the stereotype here in the South, where if you're from like the real deep South, and they have missing teeth and all that. So, real hillbilly redneck,
Yeah, well, I can't say much because I have my partials in right now. That's why there's no. But sometimes on my live, if I don't put them in, you'll see like it looks like black teeth, but it's not. It's like the hole from the missing one, so it's just a shadow. But yeah, but that's from me. I've always had bad teeth. I hated when I was a kid and we would go to the dentist because we went regularly. Because again, my dad had like good coverage from his work, so every 6 months we'd go to the dentist, and my brother would never have cavities, and sometimes when he was younger, he didn't brush his teeth for a while, which was really gross to me, but he never had cavities. And every time I went, no matter how much I took care of my teeth, I'd always have cavities. So it doesn't help now as an adult that I drink a lot of pop and it's, wreck the enamel and everything else. But when I was a kid, we weren't allowed pop very often and stuff like that. And just, I was just, it's just my teeth. They just.
Yeah, Lucy says she wants to be a dentist when she grows up. I said, okay, go right for it.
Ah, that's good. Especially if you need work done.
Right?
That's one of the reasons that I got a lot of them pulled when they were really bad. Again, here it would be covered for dentures or whatever, but in Canada it would be, so if they just kept filling a tooth, and then I needed a root canal would be $600, $600 to $800 for one tooth. And then in the end, I'd probably need dentures anyways, which would be thousands of dollars. So I was like, no, just pull them. Just pull them and I'll get dentures eventually. I'm not going to pay for root canals now and then dentures later. But then I came here and that it's covered. And I'm like, that's, but eventually I think if I had all the money that, I would get the implants.
Yeah.
The only weird thing is like when I chew, because they're made of like plastic or whatever the partials are, like they have no nerves in them, right? So it's really weird to chew my food but not feel it.
Yeah.
It's just a weird sensation. You don't feel it. Yeah, it's just, but I don't know. So sorry, Samantha said. I know Melody said that Samantha's so funny, and she is. She's a comedian. I have a year free dental and prescriptions because of having Oliver. That is Samantha, who had a son who was born sleeping. And Tyla doesn't have enamel on her teeth because of having a traumatic birth. She's had surgery twice because of it, which is her 12-year-old daughter. Oh, yeah, 12, 13. She was 13 on the same day as Steve's birthday. So that's really bad because that's one of the reasons, actually just yesterday, I was brushing my teeth and Erica, our 12-year-old, said, I don't know how you can brush your teeth with warm water. That's so gross. And I'm like, because cold water hurts my teeth. She's like, but cold water is so refreshing. And I'm like, yeah, if I drink it, it's really nice, but I don't swish it through my teeth when I'm drinking it. If I'm brushing my teeth, I have to use warm water because I have no enamel. So the teeth that I have left are really sensitive.
Yeah, I have some teeth back down here too. But yeah, cold water is fine to drink, but I don't, it's funny. I never even thought about that with brushing my teeth, that I don't usually use cold
Yeah.
because it hurts.
Yeah. I don't know if something back to Florida and hurricanes. Steve, so Thomas, his youngest is 19 now, but when he was about 4, they went to Disneyland. He doesn't remember it, but he has so Steve has 2 29-year-olds, and then there was 2 boys in between that are also Steve's stepkids, but they don't come around. They're welcome here, but they don't come around. And yeah, so all of them. So Steve and his ex-wife and 5 kids went to Disneyland. Is it Disneyland in Florida or Disney World?
It's Disney World in Florida, and Disneyland in
Okay,
California.
so it was Disney World because they were in Florida. But funny, they went in hurricane season. So what usually would be really long lines on like Steve said, he got to go on every roller coaster, I think, except one. That's how awesome it was, that there was no lineups and everything else. And he said also when it started raining, he said people were running away like it was the worst thing, and they're like, we're British. So they just but yeah, so that's the story that he talks about hurricane season in Florida.
And native Floridians, even when it rains when we're in Disney, we don't care because we know in like 5 minutes it will pass over anyway.
That's true. That's true. I brush my teeth in the shower. Melody says, yes, I do too, but I don't always shower every day. And you can call that gross. I know Steve gives me a hard time about it, especially because I work out every day. But you should brush your teeth with water. What? You shouldn't brush your teeth with water. It washes the toothpaste away and doesn't do its proper job. The doctor told us when Tyla had her first surgery, and when I brush them at night, I use warm water, Melody said. No, Samantha, I don't brush my teeth with water. I brush my teeth with toothpaste. I mean, when I'm rinsing, after I brush my teeth. I wet my toothbrush, and I put the toothpaste on, and then I start brushing my teeth. Sometimes it's still not enough water, that after I do that, I put it under the tap real quick and put more water in to get the foaminess. But I also hate, first, I just think too many toothpastes are too minty. And I have this thing about when there's too much foam in my mouth. So I'm a really messy person when I brush my teeth. It's like dripping out. And I'm just like, so in the shower is better, but it's like all over my chin. Pardon?
Nathan, I'm the same way. Nathan makes so much fun of me for it. He says I'm like a toddler when I brush my teeth.
I just don't like too much of the foam stuff in my mouth. But yeah, and then I rinse. Obviously, most people rinse. They don't swallow the toothpaste. But yeah, so I need warm water to rinse. I do this as if I use a cup. I don't. I stick my head under the tap. Yes. So, what else? Anything that you?
What are you drinking? What's in the cup?
It's pop.
Oh, okay.
It's my only addiction. But it looks nicer if I drink it this way than usually. I usually just drink it like this.
Yeah. So how far away are you from London? Because I have been to London before.
I am.
And that was well before I knew you. So it's been a long time.
I am I think it's about 4 or 5 hours from London. And the only time I've ever been there was in the summer of 2019 when we went back to Canada. We left out of one of the airports there. But I know, Samantha, when things aren't when things aren't so restricted and everything, she said me and her will go on the train to London, and then Steve will take us there. I'm not really bothered. I mean, yeah, it's like New York City. I enjoyed seeing New York, but my life isn't, it wouldn't have been over if I never went to New York. It was cool to see. So it's kind of like that with London. But yeah, I don't know if you get it where it would be like Orlando, maybe. I don't know how close you are to Orlando or whatever's in Florida. People just assume like, oh, I have a friend in Florida. Do you know him?
Yeah.
So people always ask me how London is, and I'm like, I have no idea. I've never been there.
Yeah, Florida is very long, and so we're about 2.5 hours from Orlando, and that's where Nathan went to college. So we actually go up there quite a bit, and that's where Disney is. And when you have a kid, that's like awesome to be that close. But Florida is so long. We went to a wedding last weekend in Key Largo, and it only took us about 2.5 hours. But to go to Key West would have been another 2 hours. So if you go from like Key West up to the top of Florida, that could take you well up of like 10 hours, 10, 12 hours just to get out of the state. It's ridiculous. People don't realize how long it is, but it is a horrible drive.
Well, I would say that too for Alberta, like the province that I spent most of my life in. I've never been to the south, like where the border is, American, like Montana to Alberta. Never been. I haven't really been further south than Calgary. I don't know how much you know about Alberta, but and then I haven't really been really really far up north either. Hi, Vicky. Lena's making an appearance. So yeah, but it is Steve thought that was so funny when we were in Canada. When we from Edmonton, where I grew up, we were going up north to a place called Grand Prairie, where a lot of my dad's family lives, and it's about 4.5, 5 hour drive. So he took a picture of the sat nav and sent it, or put it on Facebook, or sent it to his friends or whatever, because it said in something like in 400 kilometers turn right or something, and he just thought it was hilarious, where like here you wouldn't get that. Although if you went from one end of England to the other, I think of England as a province or a state, but a lot of the states are small. Yeah, but I think of it, sort of like a province, like it would be like driving across a province. But
and how far away, when you were in Canada, how far away were you from Vancouver?
12 hours at least to drive.
I have a couple that I never met, and he lived in Vancouver. And he was my dad's older brother, and I guess when he got out of the service, he was in the Navy. He married someone, and it didn't work out. He was devastated, and he left. He went to Vancouver and lived out the rest of his days there. I never met him, but I was always curious to go there. I always said when I was 18 I was going to go find him, and he just didn't want to be found. So we found about 10 years ago that he passed from throat cancer, and he never smoked a day in his life, never drank a day in his life. He was like the fittest guy on the planet, and but he lived out there in Vancouver, so I always said one day I was going to go there.
Well, you might still go there even though he's not there, just for the sake he said he would go there. Okay, so my cousin Erin is watching right now as well, which I didn't realize because I can't always tell who's watching, but she is from Grand Prairie, the one up north that I said, the city, and but she lives in BC right now too. And then I drive 12 hours back from Kelowna to Wembley to visit family, although it seems long. Really, I've done it so many times. That is, well, but actually that's when I went to Vancouver, was with my cousin Erin and her husband Jason. I don't remember if we left from Edmonton or if we left from Grand Prairie, but it was 12 hours to drive. And so you get used to those drives. I know here, like a road trip here in England to people, like 2 hours seems long, but when I moved to Saskatchewan, it took 6 hours to get from Edmonton to Saskatchewan, like where I live, and where my brother and his wife still live out there. And then my sister at the time lived up. My sister Melody lived up in Dawson Creek, up in BC, but like up by Grand Prairie, but then over into the next province. So if I drove from Saskatchewan to Edmonton, it was 6 hours, and from Edmonton up to Dawson, it was another 6 hours. But I never did it in a day, only because I was stopping in Edmonton, so I'd stay at my mom's. So I'd do 6 and then the next day leave. But you just get used to it, like Erin said, you just get used to those long drives. And I know from you being a musical fan and all your bands and stuff, I don't think that there would be a drive that you wouldn't take if it was right, if you wanted to see someone.
Right, it's the right show. I will go.
Have you heard of a band called Blue October?
Yes.
That has been my kind of like my soundtrack for the last few years.
We saw a show, gosh, I'm thinking, it was like probably a year and a half ago. My favorite band live was playing down in South Beach at this big music festival, and Blue October was actually the headliner. And I have some friends that are huge fans of theirs, and they ran into Justin, I think is right, the lead singer. They ran into him at the hotel, and she was ecstatic, and she couldn't believe she met him, and just like ran into him. And but they were the headlines. They were the headliner the next day, so we only went the day that Live was there. We didn't stay for Blue October.
I love Live as well.
Yeah, yeah. I was so pissed at all of this because Live was coming back to play here in West Palm Beach during, it's called Sunfest, and it's a big 5-day music festival here in West Palm, and that was the first place I saw them. And it will be 20 years ago this year that I first saw them play at Sunfest. So last year they were coming back to play there, and I got front row seats.
Oh man!
And pissed that they shut it all down. I mean, I was at work and I said, told her, do not talk to me today.
Wow. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
That would be frustrating. But Blue October, Justin, I don't know if I'll pronounce his last name right. Feverfeld. It's like no, Furtherfeld. I can't say. It's like, anyways, Justin. One of the things that I love most about his journey, I mean, I like the music, but then I learned more about him and everything. And he was an alcoholic, and I'm pretty sure he's using drugs and stuff too. And he's in rehab for another time. And at this time, it was his wife who was giving him an ultimatum, like, you know, you clean up or we're over. And that was important to him. But he, you know, it's a tough thing to get clean from your addictions and stuff. But he was sitting at a picnic table one day, and there was like some kind of a bug killer, like for killing wasps or something. The can was sitting there, and he was watching these wasps, and then he had this thing where he just like thought, like, why do you guys keep hovering around it? You just saw your friends get killed, and now you're just still hovering around it. And he had his like aha moment, like his epiphany, like, oh shit, that's what drugs are. I've watched my friends die and my mentors in music die from this stuff, and I'm still doing it myself. And I just thought that was brilliant. And then he changed his life, and his music has changed a bit. It's you know, more happy and everything else, but I can relate to his music all over the board. And yeah, it's a nice story, you know, it's nice to see somebody who's turned it around like that, because not everybody does.
Not all of them can, yeah.
No, but okay. And then my auntie Diane says, hi there, I just drove from Grand Prairie East, I don't know what SB is, north to Medicine Hat, Southern Alberta. Took 12 hours, but I got lost once. LOL, long drive. I see Medicine Hat is north from where I grew up. I mean, south from where I grew up, like lower than Calgary. So I've never been to Medicine Hat. I've never been that low. But low around Medicine Hat and down there, it's called the Badlands, and it's like where the dinosaurs were, and like all this, like, it's more deserty. Like, I don't know, there's these really cool rock structures and everything that people go there to see, that, you know, we take for granted what's in our own backyard. We don't see things, you know, people go on trips across the world to see this and that and everything else, and you don't even see some of the things that are right in your own. Look, it's Space Invader. Okay, say hi. Hi. That's Aurora. That's our 15-year-old. Good night. Love you.
Night. Love you.
Yeah.
I'm late because I was.
Yeah. So, yeah. I lost my train of thought. Oh, Drumheller. Yeah, sorry, not Medicine Hat. So Drumheller in southern Alberta is the place where the dinosaurs and those big rocky things and everything are, that I've never been to. So, but yeah.
Yeah, like beach, and we hardly go. It's a damn shame, because I say how important it is to me, and I mean, I used to all the time, I guess, when I didn't have as much responsibility in life, but and I used to be a lot and have a lot more blonde hair when I used to go to the beach. But it's right there. We feel the ocean breeze, but we never go.
Yeah. I don't really like the ocean as much, like going to the seaside and stuff, because I grew up where there's lots of lakes, and when you go and you want to go swimming, you can just go swimming. Whereas at the seaside, if the tide's out, you're like, where's the sea? Like, you know,
Yeah.
and then there's the riptides and like all these dangers and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, just bring me to the lake. I mean, every year, you know, the lake might go up and down, so you might have a little bit of a bigger beach or a smaller beach, but it, you know, I just, yeah, it's less dangerous.
We don't go swimming here
Pardon?
because we don't go swimming in lakes here.
Yeah.
Because there are too many alligators.
Oh, the lakes there have alligators.
Oh yes, if there's a body of water in Florida, you have to assume there's an alligator in it.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'm so sorry.
No.
Food or water?
Water.
Yeah. Sorry, she was just telling me to give the gerbils water because Aurora usually takes care of the gerbils, make sure they have food and water, but she's already late for bed, so she asked me to just do their water.
So what time is it there?
It is, well, I was late for coming on, so it should be around 9 o'clock, but she said she's late, so I guess it's like about 10 after 9.
Yeah, I got about 4:15 here.
Okay, so it's 9:15 here.
Yeah.
So you're oh wait, so you said 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so 5 hours. So you're in the same time zone as like Toronto and Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's easy for me to do that because Steve has a lot of friends. I have a few friends from Ontario, but Steve has way more because of the work that him and Jackie do. And that's where I met him, in Ontario, going to the retreats and stuff like that. But also Rescue Mediums, the TV show that Jackie was on, they filmed it in Ontario. So.
Oh, yeah. So we don't get that show here. At least we didn't on my whatever cable we had. But yeah, we didn't get that over there.
You can see some of them on YouTube, and all of the episodes are available on what's called veryparanormal.com. And it's still, out of all the ghost shows and all that stuff, it's still my favorite one because so many of them are trying to prove if ghosts are real. And they're like, oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And they're all like, yeah. And I'm just like, this is just crap. That's not even, you know what I mean? Sometimes
we think ghosts here.
Pardon?
But I think we've thought we have a ghost at my house.
You probably do, but it's probably one of your loved ones. And it's usually not anything to be scared of.
Yeah, no, I'm not scared of it at all. I actually think it might be a child. It's weird that I think these things, but it's like Lucy has these toys that just randomly go off. And I thought, well, okay, maybe the battery's gone, you know. And so we would replace it. And then I thought, well, maybe it's just the toy itself. This one particular toy it goes off all day, all night, no matter how much you change the batteries. Then we've had other toys do the same thing. So that was just the one. And it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, we're like yesterday, there was a random puddle in my hallway and I slipped and I busted my knee. It hurt really bad, but it came out of nowhere. And I said, oh, it must have been the ghost. Like, I mean,
that
it's
is
kind of like
yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that you got hurt, but again, a child spirit would do those little things that, you know, playing with toys and stuff. But has Lucy said anything? Has she, you know, does she have an imaginary friend that she plays with or talks to, or?
No, not at. But you know what's funny is when she was little, we she might have been like a year or two, and we had, you know, like when our loved ones pass away, and at the funeral we have these cards, and it usually has like a prayer or something on it, has a picture. Out of nowhere, we saw her sitting on the floor with my grandmother's card. I don't remember seeing it out in the living room. It just appeared nowhere, and she's playing with it. She's just looking at it like it was a really like cool moment, and it got me very emotional because I was always hoping my grandma would meet her. You know, she would love her, and but no, she never says that was only that one time. But she doesn't have any imaginary friends or any of that. But it's weird that this toy and these other things happen all the time. And we hear noises, so we make jokes that we've got like some guy living up in the attic or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, there is a name for that too, where where you set your keys down or your earrings or something, and then you can't find them, and you're sure you put them there, and then you're like whatever, and then 2 weeks later they're back or they're in another spot, and you're like, I did not have them there. There's a name for that with spirits. I mean, it takes a lot of energy for spirits to do anything, but they can do stuff like that. So they can, you know, so if you had your grandma's card, say it was in a photo album, they could take it from there, kind of like what's that called? What's it called when you make yourself go to somewhere else? I'm waiting for the machine to make you transport. I can't remember. My brain's not working. Teleport. But they can do that with stuff where it will materialize somewhere else. And there's actually a term for it, but I can't remember what it's called. The materialization, but something where it goes from one place to another. So, but yeah, no, it is cool, all that stuff. And I mean, besides, like I said, I'm sorry they got hurt, but usually they're just trying to let us know that they're around and they're happy. So I know that your grandma has seen your daughter and knows her. And one of the most common ways for them to visit us is in our dreams. So you can ask for them, you know, just say, well, when I dream tonight, maybe you can come and visit me. I'll put out 2 chairs and we'll, you know, so you can see if and give it time, but your grandma might come to you in a dream.
Yeah. Yeah, yesterday's thing was just so weird. Like, because I had just been in that hallway, I felt like 2 minutes before, and I would have seen it or stepped in it before. No way I could have avoided it. And so when I slipped, and I had done this before, that was my own fault. But yeah, but I said that ghost is pissed, like she's mad at me or something, because we had been a couple of days. So I thought maybe she was mad we left or something.
But yeah, and also it's not like you had a dog who could have peed there or
no,
like a drink spill, you would have known.
Yeah. It was definitely not dog pee. It was water. Nobody spilled anything because nobody was in that hallway. It was just, but like now we're just like, oh yeah,
it's the ghost. I was younger before I knew all of this ghosty stuff. Like before I knew what I know with Steve and everything else. I had a friend who, well, things were starting to happen around my parents' house, and I was looking at, we had these big bar mirrors in our basement where we would get ready and do our makeup and stuff, and it looked like a head was sticking it, like putting its head into the doorway, and then when I would look over, it would stick its head out. It just looked like a head, like a shadow of a head, and I was like, what the heck? It didn't seem scary, but it was just, seemed like playful, like someone was messing with me, right? And then I was telling my sister Tina this in the kitchen, and my cousin Sean was there, who at the time was like Bible school, like really Christian, like, and I was telling my sister Tina about the shadow head that I kept seeing, and she said that's weird because I was sitting on my bed and the door was open a bit, and I felt like someone sprayed me on the arm with water, and I was like, hey, and she could reach her door from her bed at the time and moved it, and nobody was there. And then when I said about the shadow, my cousin Sean said, oh, that's weird because I saw that same like shadow thing walk into your room, Lisa. And I was like, really? And then I found out like shortly after that, and when this stuff was going on, I got a phone call, and it was my friend's mom. And she said, I got your letter, because me and Sean were pen pals. And she said, I got your letter. I opened it. I hope you don't mind. But Sean got killed by not my cousin Sean, but Sean got killed by a drunk driver. And I didn't know, but it was my friend Sean who died, who was trying to let me know that he had died, and he was that kind of person. And it was me and Tina, my sister, and she was with me when we met him and his cousin and his friend at the lake, so she knew him too. And it was just yeah, so it ended up being my friend Sean, and me and his mom are still friends now.
Wow.
But yeah, it was just like that. So that was one of my experiences that I had. But it was like when I was a kid, like really little, like Lucy, I remember shouting to my parents that there was a shadow. Again, it was like a shadow, like a head and shoulders in my window, and I was screaming that there was somebody out there. And it happened a few times, but the one time I remember standing up, and I know I was a little girl because I was wearing a nightgown, and I hate nightgowns because I move too much when I sleep and they twist. So as soon as I had a say in it, I would not wear nightgowns anymore. So I know I was quite little, but I remember standing on my bed looking out the window, and my dad and my cousin were looking around outside to make sure nobody was there. And my mom was with me. And then my dad said, Lisa, because our house is facing the street. I mean, our house, those windows were facing the street. So my dad said something that made sense. He said, Lisa, if somebody was going to come up to the window, they would need to bring a ladder with them. They're not going to put a ladder on the front of the house. And that made sense to me. So I was like, oh yeah, right. But I knew I saw what I saw. It wasn't until years later that I knew that spirit, even good spirit, can just come in a shadow form. You can see them that way. And that's not something negative necessarily.
Right.
It's just that one of the ways that they can appear. You know how they can appear as mist, or they can appear as different things. So that's just the way that I would see them. So when I saw like the head as shadow, that's just, now I know more about it and everything. I know that you can see them as that. So I obviously, when I was a kid, I was seeing a shadow at my window. I still don't know who it is. I have thought about meditating and finding out who it is. I think it might have been one of my grandpas, but it's just for a kid, it's creepy and it's scary.
Yeah, well, I've got my cats. They, every now and then we catch them like staring up at the ceiling, like there's something there, but there's nothing there. Like, it's Florida, we're full of bugs. I'm like, okay, maybe there's like a mosquito or something. But there's nothing. I catch them staring, just like, and it's like curiosity. I'm like, I feel like something is there, and I would catch my dog doing that too. So it's that, I don't. That's what Nathan thinks are. But I mean, they don't. It doesn't bother me.
I believe that they're all around us, and that animals are more sensitive to it because they're closer to the spirit world because they don't have like when we're born and kids. That's why kids can see them and stuff more. They've just come from the spirit world, so they're closer and more open to that. But then as we grow up, we're given these like blinders. I don't know what the term is, but like we're socialized to believe that that doesn't exist or that's not real and everything else. So animals don't have that. They just know what they know. So they can see it because it's there. But to us, it's like you said, it's like a medium, somebody who's a really strong medium, like Steve, right? I could be, and he could be like, oh, I see your grandma's sitting beside you. And I'm like, where? Like, well, I don't see her. Doesn't mean she's not there. It just means that I'm not tuned into that, right? So, but that's what I said before too. When they say like, oh, well, my loved one, why don't they give me a sign? Why don't they? And they will try to give you signs, but at the same time, they're not going to just be sitting on your couch. If you walked into your house right now and your grandma was sitting on your couch, you would shit yourself. Right. Even though it's your grandma, it's a loving thing, and she's just saying, "I'm still here." But if it's like, how do you do it? A hand on the shoulder, you're still gonna freak out. Like there's not enough. My dad, when he passed away, I'm sure he wrecked all of my mom's electronics. She needed to get like everything, like new microwave, a new stereo, like everything. And I'm like, that would be my dad. He wrecked everything, but it was probably his way of trying to get, to let her know that it he's still. When I did a meditation after my dad died, I didn't expect my dad to come to me anytime soon because I know when we get over there, we have stuff to do. And it's like traveling to a new country. You're not gonna be like, you might phone home and say, hey, I'm here. But, then you want to go on adventures and you want to see what it has to offer and everything else. You're not going to like keep talking to your parents at home when you're on your vacation, right? So I didn't expect to hear from my dad, but I was doing a meditation and I was walking towards what I was supposed to be doing because it was a guided meditation. So like Steve or Jackie, whoever was doing it, was telling you, and now walk forward and there's, whatever, a tree there, sit under the tree. I don't remember what it was, but and then over to the side, I saw my dad, and I went over to him. I'm like, hey, what are you doing here? And I was like, see, told you this stuff is real. And then I gave him a hug, and I was like, oh my God, only I would do that, right? Saying like, now that you're dead, see, told you.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to read the comment from Lori. Lori just popping in and out while doing chores. And I know you guys already talked about COVID, but what is the summary for people doing all the things in the US? Are vaccines just out so much faster, or nothing is really enforced?
It's a little bit of both. So right now, we're through the production of the vaccine. We can't get it out fast enough. And each state runs differently in terms of how they want to distribute it. So our governor, he said that healthcare gets it first, which I was fortunate enough to get into that group. So I got mine in December.
Which one did you get?
I got Moderna.
Okay. And did you have any side effects?
Yes, not after the first dose, but the second dose was like having a mild flu. I had the chills. I had a
How
fever.
long did that
Uh,
last, your flu-like symptoms?
for me, it was about 36 hours
Oh,
because
that's
I
it.
got it
Okay.
and I started feeling that like, oh my God, it's so cold in here. And I was using a pad to keep warm, and then I had a headache, and I was just like blah the next day, and it just the fever came and went, and then the next morning I had a real small headache, and I took Lucy to school, and by the time I got home, it was fine. It was as if like I had never been sick at all.
Right. Okay, sorry. So go on. So you said healthcare
Yeah.
workers.
So yeah, in Florida, healthcare workers and 65 and up were first eligible, and I will give our governor that he prioritized seniors because we all know that they're at a different risk category. But the problem was at the time our supply was so low that now you have all these seniors fighting to try to get the vaccine. We didn't have very much of it. So now we have production of we had Pfizer and Moderna. Now we're getting Johnson and Johnson. So now we have three different kinds, and a lot of the different states are just doing it by age category to help with the supply and the distributing it and everything. So starting next week, anybody 18 and up in Florida can get it, but you can sign up for it. I mean, you're going to get it tomorrow. You might get it 3 months from now.
Right.
But
18 and up, you guys are already at. Wow, that's
yeah, start. But I don't think it's going to be as big of a rush from 18 to 40 as it was with the 65 and up. I mean, the 65 and up were getting really upset that they couldn't get a hold of the vaccine, rightfully so.
yeah. Yeah.
But and so my theory, though, with the 18 to 40 group is for us, at least here in Florida, that was the biggest population that was spreading it.
Yeah,
And so,
absolutely. Not taking it seriously, especially being a beach place. They're probably out on the beach yeah, no.
right, right, right. They were, and so a lot of those folks have already had it. So they're probably not likely to have such a rush to get the vaccine because they think they have antibodies, which most of them probably will. We just don't know, how long that
Like we
lasts. So
said,
I don't think,
it's passing it on to other people who are more susceptible to, be really sick or pass away from it.
yeah.
Go on.
Um, so yeah, starting next week, it'll be 18 and up here in Florida. At least in my county, we've had, and our population in my county is 1.5 million. And we've vaccinated, I think, some like 75% of those that are 65 and up that want it, which most of them do. It's the younger populations that are kind of hesitant and they, some buy into the conspiracy theories. Not all. And then there's a big anti-mask movement here,
That's
which
what
I think is silly.
Lori just said. Yeah, so she said, so glad that you got it. And she says, I see so many people in Florida going to big parties, etc. Zero masks. And I'm always wondering what the deal is. And Melody says, what are the numbers in Florida? And Lori says, oh, wow, nice. Okay, so yeah, the no masks and.
Yeah, there's a lot of pushback with mask mandates here. Our governor does not want to do a mask mandate. People will do it on their own, which we thought would be the case. Here in Palm Beach County, we have a mask mandate. And you have to basically anywhere, if you go shopping, most of the places will enforce that you have to wear it. But a lot of people then say, well, I have a medical condition or there's religious exemption or whatever. So nobody wants to touch those people because they're afraid of the confrontation.
Yeah, we have that here too. Not high numbers, but still the same.
I'm not wearing it, and I've got thoughts in my head, but I don't say anything because also I don't know. If you have it, you're gonna breathe in my face, or you're gonna punch me in the face, or you're gonna, whip out the camera because everybody's a reporter around here, so they're just waiting to make the news. So
well, I posted a thing about it a few months ago about not wearing masks and everything else. I mean, it's like, is it really a big deal? Like if it, especially where I grew up, it's cold in the winter, right? So we cover our face with our scarf and stuff all the time, right? And sometimes on cold days, all you can see is this, right? but it's not a big ask. It doesn't really affect, and you can breathe, as you know, you're in healthcare. You can breathe, you can do
Yeah.
it, whatever. But I posted this thing about it, and one of the people on my Facebook went off on that she's been traumatized by an ex-boyfriend, like gagging her and tying her up and da 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 and all this. So putting anything over her mouth and nose is re-traumatizing and everything else. And I'm like, listen, that is horrible that happened to you, and I'm sorry to hear that. And fine, then you are one of the exceptions, right? So I'm not saying you have to wear a mask. I'm saying that if that helps with not spreading this, or even any, like the regular flu or anything, right? If it's like, is it really that big of a deal that you need to fight about this? Is it really like, do you fight about like, oh, I shouldn't have to wear shoes to go into 7-Eleven, like, or
Right.
a shirt, right? Like, do you fight about it, or do you just put on your shirt and go in? Like, is
Right.
it like, I don't see what the big deal is. And how
Yeah.
is the government trying to control you by asking you nicely to put a piece of material over your face?
Yeah. And it's like, your surgeon wears it for 8 to 12 hours a day and has been for years, and they don't have a problem. And I get, if you're not used to wearing it, it's inconvenient, but, you do it not out of the goodness of your heart, of not giving it to grandma who may not be able, like my dad, he is super high risk. He has COPD, hypertension, arthritis. He's 72, and he served in the Vietnam War. Like he, he absolutely needed the vaccine. So I was very fortunate that I was able to get that. But he's one of those folks where he will have a hard time wearing the mask, but he even still wears it because he knows. And I was afraid that if he left his condo, that he was going to get it, because if he got it, it would kill him.
Right.
I know it would.
Yeah. Steve has a low immune system. Oh, sorry. Steve has a low immune system as well. Luckily, he's had his first shot now, and I need to plug in my phone. I forgot that it's not plugged in, so it just told me my battery's low. Yeah, Steve's had his first one last Friday, like not 2 days ago, but over a week ago, and because of his, we're sure it's pretty much because you might have flu-like symptoms, and then also because of his immune system that he's been pretty rough all week. It's gotten better now.
Mm-hmm.
Today is the first day that he says he's feeling a lot better today, but like still, yeah, we're definitely gonna get it. And then my sister says she double masks because she has to keep working and stuff, and she says the variants are really easily transmitted and stuff, so she's double masking now. But I agree with the thing about doctors and nurses have been wearing masks for, like, because those people who say that it doesn't work. Well, then why have doctors and nurses been wearing masks all this time? Just for the look of it?
And they're doing it to protect you as the patient, because if you're in surgery and your body is open and exposed, they're trying not to transfer their pathogens into you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
sorry, I need to read the comments again. My mom got hers on Wednesday. Oh yeah, I forgot, Mom. What? I get mine on Wednesday. Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought you get it on the 31st. So my mom hasn't had it yet, but she gets hers on Wednesday, and she's 71. And Lori says, yay, Marie. And my sister says, I have an aunt with COPD who hasn't left the house in over a year. And hang on, oh yes, I know. I was like, well, if it's Melody's aunt, it's my aunt too, but I was trying to think of which aunt it is. I know which aunt it is now. I think I need to switch it. Just give me a second. I don't know if my phone is charging on that cord. I'll just use this one. Okay, so oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Lori said, my husband, because he's a doctor. Lori's husband is a doctor. So when masks first came out and everyone protested, was quite upset, saying, I wear one every day, all day. It's the least you can do. I agree, Lori. And so what are do you know your numbers right now in Florida for how many people have COVID, or how many people have died in the last 24 hours?
I used to keep tabs on that. We have a whole dashboard, like a website that we do. And I know we hit the 2 million mark. sometime last week, but those numbers are cumulative. So that would be since the start of COVID. So I don't know, but I know our positivity rate was less than 6% as of Friday. So, but I don't keep track as much as I used to.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I just got busy doing other stuff, and at that point, like the numbers didn't matter so much as everything else I was trying to do. But I know, yeah, we hit the 2 million mark, and in our state we have 23 million.
Right.
But that's just the numbers of people that like that get tested.
Yes.
So one of my coworkers had it, and the one I told you about with the garlic and the coffee.
Yeah.
He never. But we knew he had it. Based on the fact that his roommate had it and all of his symptoms, he said, "Well, I'm not going to leave the house to go get tested when I know I have it." So there's a lot of people.
Well,
you don't necessarily need a test to tell you.
Right. I don't remember what I was watching, but it was talking about something about people not being able to get tested and stuff like that. And now the kids, I have so many tests here now because Allison in college, and then the other two girls at school, they got boxes. Each box has 3 tests in it, which reminds me. I was supposed to do them tonight, but I'm supposed to do it twice a week, but Sunday. So I'm going to have to do it in the morning before they go to school. But yeah, so I was like, maybe I should just test myself. But I'm pretty sure I don't have it. And like I said, I don't go anywhere if I don't have to. And when I do go to the shop, because I'm the one that does most of the shopping, I wear my mask and I avoid people like the plague. Not only because in case they have it, but in case I have it. I just would not want to give it to somebody else. So yeah, a little fly went up my nose.
Weeks at work. Even though now I've had the vaccine, I still get tested. But so I'll actually go this coming Wednesday to get my COVID test. But yeah, the tests are pretty available now. There was a huge shortage of it for a while. But I also think, we've shut testing sites, so there's just more supply. And now people are more focused on getting the vaccine than getting tested necessarily.
Yeah. So I have really enjoyed talking to you, and this is really awesome. I mean, besides doing the Facebook Live, like the Rambling Hour, we should, I know you're really busy because you have a job that is required right now. Well, it's always required, and even more so now. And I am not as busy because I don't work. Well, I work in the house, but you know what I mean. I don't work out of the house, but I'm definitely not a frontline worker or a key worker. But yeah, we should, catch up sometime again. And I really, really enjoyed this. This is great. And I think my viewers would have enjoyed it too, because it's somebody different, somewhere different in the world. And and then seeing the palm tree behind you. Both because it's next time sunny summer weather.
Next time I'll bring it to the beach.
Oh, yes. I know I keep saying that now. We just changed our clocks last night here in the UK, and you guys did it 2 weeks ago. Same with Canada. And I said pretty soon it's going to be light enough that I'll be able to do my lives from outside, because like I said, so when you said it was, so you're 5 hours behind me, and on the prairies where my family is, there's 7 hours.
Oh, okay.
So what time is it there now for you?
It's now 4:40.
So for them it's 2:40.
Yeah.
And for me it is 9:40, and that means that we've been talking for a long time. But I will end this podcast today. This Facebook Live today, and I'm so happy that you were on and for sharing all this great information about America and everything else. And if with the Trumps being there, you need any support from your Canadians, we're all here for you and your family.
For sure.
And for everybody else, I'll be on again next week on Sunday. That'll be 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and 8 p.m. British Standard Time. So we'll see you then. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for joining us, Lisa, and we'll see you all later. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.